Oh, hello, it is I, your boy Gomi, and we are back looking at another UFC fight night. And this week we're going to be looking at UFC Fight Night in London at the O2 Arena, the return to London. Now, I will be 100% honest with you. Last fight card, last fight night, this is a lot better of a card. I will say this one right here, Marcin Tybura versus Tom Aspinall, is going to be a lot better of a card overall. A lot more better name value. As well, I would say just overall should be more solid in terms of fights as well too. Not the hypest London card. I do feel the other London cards were better on paper. Granted, the last London fight night, Aspinall versus Blades ended up being really sucky. But the one in March, the pay-per-view 286 was pretty solid, and then the one in more than a year ago now, that one in March is still one of the best cards of all time. But yes, let's look at this fight card and break it down. I'll go a little bit faster because, to be honest with you, the name value doesn't really kick into the main card except for one outlier. But yes, so Rafael Filo versus Daniel Barez. This should be a pretty solid fight. We get to finally see Rafael Filo, what he actually is able to do. He took a short notice fight against Muhammad Mokaev in his last fight, and we saw what he was able to do on Muhammad Mokaev with that insane, like, I believe it was a knee bar that just almost ruined his tendons. Granted, Mokaev's got that dog in him and did not tap. Daniel Barez is pretty solid overall. I just don't think he's going to be getting the W against Rafael Filo. I think this is going to be a fight for him to get his first win. Joanna Bannon versus Bruna Brasil. I'm not a fan of either of the two, to be honest with you. I'm going to go with Joanna Bannon, to be honest with you, but ugh. Chris Duncan versus Yanel Ashmouche should be actually a pretty solid lightweight fight. Both of them are going to be pretty exciting fighters overall. You have both of them coming off wins. Both have very solid striking. I just like the overall striking and hand speed better of Yanel Ashmouche. You can see that he lands at a higher clip. He doesn't land... He doesn't take as much to better defense, but overall, I just like Yanel Ashmouche in this fight. But I think this should be a pretty explosive fight. I definitely think it's one that's not going to go the distance. Ketlin Vieira versus Pani Kianzad. Forgive me, I'm not even try any further. I think Ketlin Vieira is going to take this one very easily. I think this is a little bit of a mismatch, to be perfectly honest with you, and I fully believe Ketlin Vieira is going to take her out. But man, number 4 ranked bantamweight versus number 6, and it's on the prelims? What? Okay. Makhmud Muradov versus Brian Barberena. Brian Barberena is on the prelims too? That's surprising. But I could see it may be because he's moving up to middleweight. I don't know if I like that move for Bam Bam, to be perfectly honest with you. I think he was fine at welterweight. He wasn't really going to be championship material, so I don't know what he thinks moving up to middleweight's going to do for him. Yes, there's less wrestlers at middleweight, but guess what? He got a wrestler. Not a super great wrestler. He's also got some solid striking, but I don't know. Bam Bam can bang it out. I'm pretty sure Muradov's going to be a high favorite, to be honest with you. But I think if that is the case, Brian Bam Bam's going to be a live dog, to be perfectly honest with you. I would not pick him, to be honest. But I also wouldn't bet on this fight. I don't know what the odds are. I could go through the trouble of pulling them up, but there wouldn't be much of a reason to tell you otherwise. Like, stay away from this. Unless Bam Bam is like a 4-1 underdog, then okay, maybe. But otherwise, you're not going to be getting... This is too much of a toss-up for me. And I'm sure it's going to end up being a wide favorite for him. Mick Parkin versus Jamal Pogues. Jamal Pogues, I just feel like he has more power. Mick has a little bit more lay-and-play grappling. Don't like that fight, to be honest with you. Mark DeCasey versus Yoel Alvarez. Mark DeCasey, one point, was someone who a lot of people touted as a very top striker. They had a lot of faith in him. They were going to say he was going to be the next big London fighter. He ended up being We've seen that he has some pretty solid striking and some solid takedowns. But overall, I'm not super high on him, to be perfectly honest with you. Yoel Alvarez is, I feel, just overall much more solid fighter from what I've seen. I think he's going to take this one, to be honest with you. Danny Roberts versus Johnny Parsons. This is a pretty tough pick'em fight. I like the length and like range distance of Roberts. Parsons, though, it's his debut. It's his debut. I've seen a little bit of him, but not enough. Meanwhile, Danny Roberts is coming off it was a knockout loss, was it? Yeah, it was a knockout loss to freaking Jack Della Maddalena. I didn't even realize that was his last fight. Never mind. I thought he had one in between then. Yeah, nope. I'm just I'll go with Roberts, but I don't like it either way. And Davey Grant versus Daniel Marcos. Not super familiar with Daniel Marcos, but I do really like Davey Grant. He's overall a pretty solid fighter. He doesn't have the best of record, but that's because he goes up against some pretty solid killers, to be honest with you. Going up against guys like Rafael Sunsao and Smolka and Yanez. He's been through like a tough one. It's just that he's a little bit of a douchebag, in my opinion. I'm not a huge fan of him, but I think he's a solid fighter that a lot of people underrate. So I'll give him over Daniel Marcos, to be honest with you. And then we get to the main card with Leon Murphy versus Josh Kulibao. I like Leon Murphy. I think he's a pretty exciting striker overall. Josh Kulibao, I think he's also a pretty good fighter. I think they're still a little bit too new to have a lot of data on him, but I think it should be an exciting matchup. I'm going to be going with Leon Murphy. Jai Herbert versus Faris Ziam. I'm going to Faris. Jai Herbert, though, he surprises me. He's on every London card. When's the last time Jai Herbert wasn't one of these goddamn London cards? Hold up. Is he only fought on the London cards, too? Yes, yeah, I went to a draw of Herbert Klein. He had a win over Nelson, which is solid. And then that brutal knockout versus Topuria. I keep underrating him after a knockout loss to Topuria, to be honest with you. So I don't know. I just like Faris Ziam. I think he's the better striker overall. And why Jai Herbert, I think, is a massive lightweight. I think Jai Herbert is a massive lightweight. I don't know. I don't know if he's got enough to take it in this one, but who knows? I'm always wrong about Herbert, looks like, other than Topuria. Then a middleweight bout between Paul Craig and Andre Muniz. The middleweight debut for Paul Craig is surprising. I didn't think he'd be dropping down. He had success at the light heavyweight division. He's the only person who's got a win over the previous champ, so I don't know. This is a weird one. Paul Craig, he's such a mixed bag. Sometimes when he's on and his jiu-jitsu game is working and he's like playing smart, oh man, he's a world beater. Then sometimes he has his performance against what was his name? Nikita Krylov, right? No, Uzdemir. Sorry, Uzdemir. Krylov he took out. It was his performance against Uzdemir where he looked awful, absolutely awful. But Andre Muniz have been subbed before. His last fight was a sub as well against Brendan Allen, if I'm correct. Yep, sub against Brendan Allen. So there's definitely potential to get submitted. Paul Craig is going to be the bigger guy, dropping down from light heavyweight. It's just he needs to work on his wrestling and he needs to work on his striking. His jiu-jitsu, ground game, everything like that is elite world beater status, but everything else is just not there. But he is coming off a brutal KO loss from Johnny Walker, so who knows about that. Nathaniel Wood versus Andre Fili is going. Oh, by the way, I don't want to pick on this fight. I don't want to pick. Nathaniel Wood versus Andre Fili. Ooh, this is a hard one as well too. I'm a big fan of not big fan, but I'm a fan of Nathaniel Wood and his overall solid game. I do think Andre Fili's a live dog, to be honest with you. I do have the odds pulled up. I do believe he's a live dog, but Nathaniel Wood, I just feel has the more complete striking skill set, so I'm going to go with Nathaniel Wood. I don't like him at minus 200, though. I think it should be a little bit closer. Then the co-main event, Molly McCann versus Julia. She's not that good. Not good at all. Molly Meatball is not super amazing, but keep in mind, a lot of people are really downplaying her when she went against Erin Blanchfield, who's the next goddamn champion, in my opinion. Erin Blanchfield is amazing. Molly McCann, though, she's a really good striker. She is not really a striker. She's not really anything, honestly. She's pretty bad. I believe she had a 3-fight loss streak, or she lost to Chandler. After last week, that's a bad loss. No, she had a win against Clark, but Clark's not even in the UFC. Lost to Davis. Nope, she did have a 3-fight loss streak. I remember correctly. That's meh. Meh. This is just a fight to get Molly McCann back on the map. The reason is she's also in the co-main event over guys like Craig Mooney's, Wood Feely. That's really the only people with co-main better, honestly. But it's just because she's friends with Patty. Simple as that. Oh man, I thought I said blow through this, but I spent a lot of time on this. Oh well, then we have the main event. Tom Aspinall versus Marcin Tybura. Damn, I'm gonna spend a lot of time talking about this fight. I hate this fight. I love and hate this fight. So in case you're not aware, Tom Aspinall is one of my favorite fighters. Even though he's so new, he's quickly worked his way up as one of my favorites. He's just so fun and entertaining to watch, and I love his fight mentality. One thing that will always make me a fan of his was when he was asked, he says, give me the guy that nobody wants to fight. And they said, nobody wants to fight Curtis Blades. He's like, dude, nobody really want to fight Curtis Blades? Nobody? They're like, yes, nobody wants him. He says, then I want to fight Curtis Blades. That is dope. He is that dog in him. But you know what he doesn't have? He doesn't have knees. Oh, this fight worries me so much. To be honest with you, and I'm looking at it, and I don't like those odds at all. Oh my god, those odds are horrible. They got Tom Aspinall on -500 over Marcin Tybura. Marcin Tybura is not a can. Not a can. Not a can. He is not a can. Do not assume him to be a can. He is a top 10 fighter. Tom Aspinall is better in every way, shape, and form possible, though. He is better. But he's coming off a catastrophic knee injury. Keep in mind, too, he's a heavyweight. If he was like a middleweight, a lightweight, okay, that's different. They could have like really invasive injuries or surgeries and come back. Like Tony Ferguson had an awful catastrophic, I believe it was MCL or ACL injury. He came back and he was solid. Gaethje ended up stealing his soul, but he still came back. Dustin Poirier had a very invasive hip surgery. Came back, no problem. Tom Aspinall, not only did he have that surgery, he injured it mid-fight. Like, there might be trauma going back there. He might not want to move on the same. Like, yes, he looks good in sparring and all that, but you don't know. You don't know, and I don't like that. I don't like him being such a wide favorite, to be honest with you, because Marcin Tybura is like garbage. He's like, just Tom's better, but he's not 100%. We don't know if he's 100%. If Tom let me break down the tape before I really get into this. So, it's going to be a heavyweight fight between Tom Aspinall versus Marcin Tybura. Tom Aspinall, 30 years of age. He's going to have a 12 wins and 3 losses, 8 knockouts, 4 submissions. Yes, he has a 100% finish rate of his wins. That is just... Pardon me. He has 3 submissions. Why did I write 4? Where did I get 4 from? Okay, ignore that. He has a near 100% finish weight. He is 6'5" in terms of height. Orthodox stance, 78-inch reach. They both have the same reach. He has a 4.0 takedown average, a 67.40% significant strike accuracy. Currently, right now, -440 as of this graphic, but as of right now he's -500. He has significant wins over Alexander Volkov, Sergey Spivak, Andrei Arlovsky, and Jake Collier. For having such a low amount of fights, he has such an impressive win streak. Then standing across from him is going to be Marcin Tybura, 37 years of age, 24 wins, 7 losses, 9 knockouts, 6 submissions. He's 6'3" in terms of height, orthodox stance, same reach, 1.31 takedown average, a 59.38% significant strike accuracy, plus 340 underdog. Significant wins over Blagoy Ivanov, Alexander Romanov, and Walt Harris. Not Walt. Walt Harris. Not a fan. Not a fan of this fight, man. Let me stress to you. If Tom Aspinall, he's the better striker. He has the better, more slicker, clean boxing. He is going to have the better gas tank. Despite him not really going past the second round, he's never once shown deterrent. Like, with the speed he fights, you would expect him to gas up by the second round. The few times he's been in the second round, he still looked fine. Andrei Arlovsky, he looked 100% better fighter overall, more refreshed. Tom Aspinall has a massive speed advantage. He is one of the fastest heavyweights up there at Cyril Gane and Gelton Almeida. His speed is insane. He moves like a welterweight basically, and he has the hand speed, coordination, and overall skills to back it up. Very solid defense as well too. I did see very poor defense in the 15 seconds we saw him fight against Curtis Blades. He got tagged quite a bit. That was very uncharacteristic of him. I don't know why he did that. But every other fight he's had amazing defense against Spivak, Collier, Volkov. All these guys had tried to land solid strikes on him, and he was just dodging them like nothing. Like, beautiful defense. Great offensive grappling. Back to Alexander Volkov, who we'll be talking a lot. Good old Swolkov, too. He fought Swolkov, not just regular Volkov. He fought Swolkov. Swolkov threw a right straight of an average speed, not slow, just average speed. Just Tom Aspinall ducked underneath it, got the takedown, immediately locked the submission, got a straight arm lock, which is a very rare submission too. Not like he did it in that round one. Tom Aspinall as well too has shown solid takedown defense. Nothing crazy. The main thing we're going to see is takedown defense was against the Curtis Blades fight, which we didn't see. But otherwise, we saw decent takedown defense from Sergey Spivak. All these things, Tom Aspinall is better. But that doesn't mean anything if your knees compromise the heavyweight. Look at other heavyweights. Like, we never saw Thiago Santos, a light heavyweight. He's never the same after his knee injury. Cain Velasquez, never the same after his knees. When your knees go at heavyweight, you lose a lot, especially a fighter like Aspinall, who's got solid power. I'd say above average power, but that's not his main thing. His main thing is his speed and his overall timing, which he loses if his knees aren't good. If he is at 75%, so if he's at 100%, if he comes back, he's magically 100%, this will be a first round finish, a wash. If he's at 75%, it's going to be a hard fight. It's going to be a hard fight where Tom might take it to decision and may not even win. If he's anything under 75%, he will not be able to beat Marcin. He will not be able to beat Marcin Tybura. Marcin Tybura will defeat him. Simple as that. That's why I don't like him being such a wide favorite. That's stupid to me. You guys are not like the odds makers are just looking at his skill set on paper and not reading between the lines and realizing he had such a catastrophic injury. And that's what makes me so worried about this fight. Also, there's also a superstition on my end when some of my favorite fighters fight in the same month. Well, technically same card is what mainly happens. One wins, one loses. Per example, Israel Adesanya fought on the same card as Dustin Poirier, my number one and my number two. Dustin won, Izzy got knocked out. Then you had Israel Adesanya fighting on the same card as Max Holloway. Max Holloway got one of the worst beatdowns of all time. Israel Adesanya won. Dustin Poirier is fighting at the end of this month. The week after this. So one's going to win, one's going to lose. And I like Dustin's chances against Justin better than Tom Aspinall's chances against his goddamn knees. So talking about Marcin Tybura and his strengths. Marcin Tybura's only strength, I feel he has over 100% Tom Aspinall, is really going to be his offensive grappling. But offensive grappling due to his size. I feel he's a heavier, bigger guy, and he can lay on a guy. If he gets top position and guys on the ground, I feel he's going to be able to do better in that position. Other than that, his striking is okay, but it's not the best. Like, he got pieced up pretty bad by Walt Harris, a fighter I really wish the best for, and I really want him to do better, and he does. But I'm going to be honest with you, he's not that good. It hurts to say that. I really like Harris, and I wish the best from him, especially his backstory, and he's an exciting fighter. I just wish people let him bang. But he was piecing up Marcin, then Marcin managed to get the better of him and take him out in round one. But he was getting pieced up. He was getting rocked. He also got KO'd by Derek Lewis. Marcin Tybura can take big shots. Both guys, I feel, I don't know. Actually, I think Tom Aspinall hits harder than Walt Harris, to be honest with you. But Derek Lewis for sure hits harder than Tom Aspinall. But then you look at it, neither guy, I feel, is as technically skilled in the boxing department as Tom Aspinall. Derek Lewis has FU power, but he does not have the boxing skill of Tom Aspinall. Keep in mind, Tom Aspinall also has that really good offensive jiu-jitsu. I don't think Tybura is going to get subbed, but I'd be surprised. But Maybe he can, but I feel more so knockouts the more likely option for Tom Aspinall to win. But absolutely, my thing, what I more than likely see happening is those knees just not going good for Tom Aspinall. Marcin taking him down and laying and preying on him, landing some shots, maybe even getting a knockdown, wearing him out. But I could see a frustrated Tom Aspinall sitting on the bottom. The thing is, too, like I said, the Curtis Blades fight was where we're going to really see Tom Aspinall's grappling defense. We saw only a little bit against Sergey Spivak. Sergey Spivak is an exceptional fighter, not a can. He's really good, top 10 heavyweight. And we saw him ragdoll Derek Lewis, made him look like a child. But then we also saw Tom Aspinall defend the one takedown Sergey Spivak shot and countered him to an oblivion with a knee and an elbow, took him down like nothing. Like, look at this. Look at this. Sergey Spivak, knockout, decision win over Oleinik, this crafty veteran, gets destroyed by Aspinall. Looks like he doesn't belong there. Then he destroys Hardy, destroys Sakai, destroys Lewis. Only person on this list that he beat that's is probably Hardy. But like otherwise, like he took out Hardy like he should. He took out Hardy like a child. It's impressive how he took out Lewis like a child. Like Lewis is not like, he's got poopy grappling, but he just is really good at standing up. But Sergey Spivak got annihilated. And Sergey Spivak's honestly just slightly better version of Marcin Tybura. Just Marcin Tybura is a little bit harder hitter. That's really it. And we saw Tom Aspinall handle him. And then you look at a common opponent between Tybura and Volkov. They both fought Swolkov. How did it go for Marcin Tybura? Unanimous decision. And then Tom Aspinall fought a better version. He fought true Swolkov. No, Swolkov came in at the Overeem fight. Whatever the case is, he fought a better version, and he took him out in one round. Made him look like he didn't even belong there. I don't know. I've went on long enough about this fight. I'm not betting. I don't think you should bet on this fight because I just don't trust Tom Aspinall's knees. Tom Aspinall 100% destroys Marcin Tybura, gets him out no later in the second round. 75%, it probably goes to decision with a bare victory over Tom Aspinall, maybe even a split decision. Anything less than that, Marcin Tybura wins. I don't like this fight. You know what's funny? When I pick my favorite fighters to lose this year, so far they've won. I picked Leon Edwards to lose. He won, and I was so happy. I picked Izzy to lose, and he won. I was so happy. I spoke this out loud. It's going to be opposite. I'm going Marcin Tybura. I'm going to go Marcin Tybura, and I'm going to go a decision victory over Tom Aspinall, and I think he's just going to wear on him, and I just think the knees aren't there. So, know now, though, that if Tom Aspinall is to win, I will be so happy and ecstatic. I don't know. I just don't trust it. So, this has been your boy Gomi. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. Bye-bye.